Hi, Newfield artists. I hope you're all doing well, having a good week so far. Mother's Day is Sunday, and Mrs. Noe and I are continuing to add on some new projects every day. So I have another option for you today. Maybe you're going to just give your mom all of these amazing projects. That would be fun. My mom's going to get a lot of things in the mail, that's for sure. So, another fun thing we could do is create a little purse. Moms love their bags and their pocketbooks. So this can actually, it's really easy to make, and it can actually also be a card as well. And you can write a little note or poem to your mom in there, and she can open it up, kind of like this. So to start, you're going to just need a piece of paper. It can be colored paper like this. It could just be white paper. Does not matter because we're going to be decorating after. A pencil and some scissors. And let's get started. Okay, so I'm starting with my paper vertically in front of me, and that's straight up and down. And I just have this piece of blue paper underneath just so you could see the orange paper a little bit better. But what I'm going to do first is take the bottom of my paper, and I'm just going to be folding this up, and not all the way to the top, but I'll show you. I'll turn this around. So kind of want to stop right about there. There we go. So just kind of eyeballing it. This part up here is going to be the strap of the bag, and this part down here is actually going to be the bag. So we want it to be about even. So this part here should pretty much match up with the same size that this is. And of course, you could make that a little bit, the bag part could be a little bit bigger or smaller depending on what you want. But it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not measuring anything, but it's just right about there. So that is the first. So the next thing I'm going to do is draw the shape of the bag with the handle on the top. And I know this is weird looking at this upside down, but there are steps to do this also in the slides, so be sure to check those out if you need a little more guidance. But I'm just using a pencil, and this part here that is folded, that's the bag part. So I just want to come over to the side with a curve, and I'm just bringing it all the way down to the bottom right there. So that's sort of like backwards letter C for me. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side to make them symmetrical. And that's going to be like a regular letter C, but it's all upside down for you. And then just make sure your fold is at the bottom. And then I'm going to come up here to this other section, and I'm going to make the handle. So it's just going to come up, and it's going to look sort of like a rainbow. So I'm just going nice and light first with my pencil, just in case if I need to erase anything, it'll be really easy for me. So something like that. Looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to sort of double it up. So I'm going to go on the inside, and just make that second curve there. So I'm just going to retrace so you can see it. All right, pretty simple. That is what I have done so far. Okay, so we have one little tricky step to do next, and I'm just going to show you where I'm going to cut. And we're not going to cut this section out completely because it's going to become this folded down part here. So I'm just going to, you don't have to do this part, but I just want to show you where exactly I'm going to be cutting. Little dash lines to show. I'm not going to cut here. So I think you can see that. But what I'm going to do is just carefully, I think I'm just going to use my pencil to just kind of poke a little hole to get me started right there. And then, and you can, if it's easier for you to unfold it while you're cutting. So I just poked a little hole right about there, and I'm just going to cut. I'm just going to stick my scissors right in there so I'll be able to carefully cut around and stop right there. And that is going to give me the little flap for the top of the purse. So now you can see I'm holding this bottom part back up. You can really just take this and you can just fold it right down using this edge as your guide. So I'm just folding that right down like that. And you have something that looks like this. All right, and the next thing I'm going to do is it's going to be easier. All I have to do is take my scissors and cut the rest of it out, just around the edges. So now we're going to start thinking about how we want to decorate the purse. And I just have here a piece of scrap paper. You might want to practice a little bit, figure out how you want to design this. You're actually a bag designer today by doing this. So maybe think about some simple patterns you might want to add. Could be some stripes, they could be vertical stripes, they could be horizontal stripes, they could be diagonal. Maybe you're going to be doing some checkerboard. You could go back and cross over, something like that. Maybe you want to add some waves. Maybe you're going to be doing some kind of rainbow effect with some curved lines going like this. Or maybe you're going to do some zigzags. And remember, a pattern is anything at all that just repeats over and over again. Same thing. I might be doing some spirals. Those are fun. So it starts in the middle and it just gets bigger as you go around in a circle. So here's what I ended up with so far, just by adding some different lines with a pencil. And you could do a little button right there, since this is kind of like the flap and it might close up right about there. So you can trace something that's round and just hold it down and trace it so you get that nice circle. There's a couple button examples in the slides too if you want to take a look at those. And what I'm going to do now is add some marker. I have some little stitching detail around here and here. Might use a marker for that, and the button I want to stand out. And I think I might just use crayons to do this design here on the bag. I want to keep in mind that I'm going to be writing a little message on the inside, so if I use a Sharpie or a marker that's too dark, it might bleed through this paper. So another way you could design the purse is to use some scrap paper. Maybe you have some colored paper that you want to use. You can cut out some different shapes and you can glue them down to create a nice little design on your purse. So first I laid down all of my pieces here, my little circles that I cut out, just to kind of get where the placement of where I wanted them to be, and then I glued them down. And I do have some overlapping happening here, which is really nice effect. It could kind of show space if you wanted to do that. You don't have to, of course. I'm just going to finish gluing down these last few pieces. I'm also going to add on one for the button, which is going to go right about here, and I'll put a So now I'm just going to open it up and write a note on the inside. You can always go on and add different things and use different materials that you might have around your house. I just found this piece of thin ribbon, and I know this is it's just paper, but I'm going to be careful. I'm going to try to tie a little bow around here. Okay, so here are my two examples. We have two different ways of decorating, and really the sky's the limit. Use any materials you have, you can find at home, and be really creative with it, and your mom will love it. Have fun. See you later.